Interrogation. You will be deceived is the name of the game. Interrogation challenge. Challenging conversational parts of gameplay. You need to try interrogation multiple times and may need to rewind the campaign. Narrative experience. Gameplay challenge are minimized, letting you focus on the story without the worry of failure. Expect some uncanny confessions. I'll do this one. A few years ago. Welcome, this will be the first real sessions of the investigative, interview, and interrogation techniques course. We'll be bringing in the subject. They are a trained actor, but should be fully in character for the duration of the interview. I'm considered invisible and inaudible by the actor, but I'll be guiding you along. Before any interrogation, the first thing to do is to consult the subject's file. They should give you vital insights into the case, helping you to identify what information or confessions needed to be extracted. Alright, let me see. Police Department. For internal use only. Narrative, bicycle theft. Anderson Lucas. Douglas Bird is played by an actor, as per the instructor's directions. Treat the actor the same as you would a real subject. Mr. Bird, despite coming from well-off parents, has taken to bike theft. We have plenty of circumstantial evidence because none of it is direct. However, we need to leverage all the leads in order to get a full confession. He is our main suspect for several bicycle thefts at a local university campus. Several eyewitnesses confirm his description. We also have CCTV footage showing a masked figure matching the subject's description jumping on an unsupervised bicycle and riding off fast. He's currently listed as an unemployed, living in a rented apartment paid for by his parents. His criminal record is clean, but he's known to be friends with several narcotics abusers, as well as a roommate who is a suspect marijuana dealer. Okay. When you're done checking the files, you can bring in the subject. Be careful though. Now it's not the case, but when it will be a time-sensitive situation, this is when the clock starts ticking. So first thing first, let's just try and straight up ask him. You can check the accusation question every now and then to get a sense of whether you're close to the confessions. So why do you steal bikes, Douglas? Let's talk about you writing confessions. What no, you did it, come on. They look at you in disbelief. We don't know nothing. I'm not signing any nothing. Nah. Too early for that. Let's keep walking him. So why do you steal bikes, Douglas? They say with a smirk, huh? I ain't steal no bikes, Joseph. Right, so that surprisingly didn't work. We need to get the subject in the right state of mind to give us answers. So how do we do that? We have the following tools which we can use to see what state the subject is in. This shows us how open the subject is by looking at the pupil dilation. Corroborate with a few other signals. The wider the pupil is, the more open the subject is. Okay, this makes sense. These meters tell us how scared the subject is by measuring pulse as well as other bodily symptoms. The quicker the heart rate, the more scared the subject is, and the more likely the guy's going to lie to you. Now you can influence these meters in all sorts of ways, from building a personal connection to exploring the background, from cornering them in contradictions to roughing them up. Let's try to build connection first. Be quiet, be careful. Some questions will alienate the subject instead of bringing them closer. Other questions will seem disingenuous if they are approached too suddenly. You'll probably want to start off as soft as possible. Says in your file, your phones are loaded. What's the matter? They cut you off? It's still for fun. Hey, living is expensive, I know. I used to crack iPhones when I was a teen. Okay. Can't believe they have been chasing bikes. Why can't people just lock them up properly? I think I'll ask this one. They state slowly, "Fuck you, man. No." That forced him even more on the defensive. Right now we're looking to open him up. Hey, living is expensive. They shake their head in disbelief. Fucking doubt it. It's not buying it yet. Try opening up yourself when questioning the subject, then try this one again. Says in your file, your folks are loaded. Maybe this one? They seem amused. It's fucking stupid, man. Waste of taxpayer money and all that. Okay, good. You seem more authentic. Now get closer to the subject. Alright. This one. No, they say with a tinge of disbelief. What? That's that. Okay, we have him opening up some. Good. That's why the meter now shows a wider circle than in the beginning. Now let's see how we could try to scam. You want to intimidate, but don't jump to big threats right off the bat. Don't be afraid to ask questions more than once. Asking again with the subject in a different state or with new information on the table can yield new results. If we don't have a deal and you're found guilty, it's absolutely prison time, but I can only give you a deal if you plead guilty. Let the drugs make you do it. You know how many months you do for bike theft? Hey, you're tough. You'll be fine in prison, I'm sure. They say with bravado, "I'll be just fine inside, yo." It's not buying it yet. Make him feel this is a real possibility, then ask him that again. You know how many months you do for bike theft? Nah, man. No, I ain't worried about that. They state timidly. So there are signs of fear. Well, I'll do something. They're more afraid of you. How relaxed your subject is, they're more open up to you. Okay. I don't need no deal, pig. I'm innocent. This isn't scaring him. He doesn't feel it could happen. That the drugs makes you do it. They say with confidence, "I'm clean, yo." He doesn't seem scared by that. Might actually be clean. Hey, you're tough. What? You don't do time for snatching bags, do you? My dad works for a senator. I'll be fine. They avoid your gaze. Sometimes the talks reveal new information that you can further pursue. Oh, you think this senator risks his career for the sake of a bag snatching kid? Really? The shift in the seat in distress. Probably not. Shit. There we go, we're getting there. Now let's put him in a good place to negotiate. If we don't have a deal, you're fuck it, yeah. But I mean, what would a deal be like? They seem concerned. Okay, we've got him. As you can see, his pulse is much faster now. I can see that. Okay, now this is off the record, but I want you to know your options. At any time, you can stop the recorder tracking your questionings. This will make people suspicious. They probably will ask what happened when the recording was stopped. You'll be accused, but ultimately, it's your word against theirs. In a pinch, though, it is something to consider. You have means of enhanced interrogation that can get a subject scared faster. Try a couple out. The actor will just pretend to be hurt. Oh, time to go to the wall and pray. Look me in the eye and say it. That can be quite stunning. Ooh. They yell in pain, insisting that they're innocent. Maybe they're more open once peanut. Doing this calls them out, but as you can see now they're terrified. Be aware that if you continue roughing them up, they might pass out. Stop the recorder again when you're done. Sometimes you'll be interrogating against the clock. When that's the case, keep your eyes on the timer. Sometimes you'll be interrogating more than one guy. Switch between rooms and be sure to cross-reference the info they give you. Anyway, you get to keep your manual after you finish the academy. It's great for refreshing your memory about what you learned today. Okay, now, to wrap this up, we're ready to get a confession with the accusation questions. There's no need to reveal this, though, or set to respond to the acquisition questions. This one? No, maybe did the drugs make you do? No, not that. Hey, you're tough. You'll be fine in prison, I'm sure. Or maybe this one. Oh, the accusation question, though. Red one, I'm sorry. Let's talk about you writing a confession. They seem concerned. What? No. What would like that involve, though? Well, have almost got him. We just have to press him the right way. There are ways in which you press an open subject and other ways in which you press a terrified subject like this one. Yeah. Look, you'll be fine. We'll have to compensate the victims. Making smart. Ready to sign a confession? Listen, you low life. Sign this damn confession right now. Maybe we can get your dumb ass out of jail. They say in despair. Fuck, man. Fuck. Shit. Okay. Alright. I sign. Mission accomplished. Now we need to report the findings. Years later. Hey, I need you to come in on a case. Fitz just brought in a set of guys. They're in the interrogation rooms. Hey. We'll have the Vic's husband, the only witness, and the robber that broke in. We need your questioning magic in there, a confession, because all we have is circumstantial. You in? Yes, sir. So, the story, this Cox broke in armed with a low-cal piece, holding this Peterson up and tying him to a chair. Wife comes in, jumps for the phone. Cox drops her with 2 shots to the back before bolting. We have the gun, no prints. This Peterson was as cool as a cucumber. His wife's body is just lying there in the other room. Managed to track down also grab Cox. Street contacts help. But we still don't have a clear picture of the murder. Check out the files, grab them, cross-examination, get me a confession. You have this. Alright, we need to look at this. Incident narrative. Heather Peterson was murdered in her living room in front of her husband, Daryl Peterson. He was found tied down in a chair in the same room. He claims that a burglar broke in and armed with a low-caliber gun threatened them, tied them up, and subsequently shot Miss Peterson as she tried to use a cell phone. Using the descriptions provided and a tip from a local pawn shop, we managed to track down the burglar, one Jerry Munch, Cox, and apprehend him. The gun was found outside the building near the fire escape the thief used to enter and leave the premises. The evidence of the burglary is clear, but we still don't have a full picture of the murder, which Munch strongly denies committing. What complicates things is Mr. Daryl Peterson's attitude. The first detective on the scene described him as disturbingly serene. Our best hope of closing the case fast and clean is an admission of guilt. Munch and Peterson have both been held for questioning. You have been tasked with extracting confession. Jerry Cox, alias Munch, has been identified as the burglar who broke into the Petersons' apartment the night of the murder. His criminal record is quite colorful and includes car theft, pickpocketing, burglary, and credit card fraud. A high school dropout with no current employment, Munch is well known to the local police as a troublemaker. He's the main suspect and has been directly accused of tying down the couple and shooting the wife, possibly impulsively under stress when she reached for her phone. While circumstantial evidence and the husband's testimony points to Munch as the murderer, it is not sufficient for conviction. He does not have a past record of violent victim of any sort. Munch has previously taken plea bargains and perhaps be pressured into doing so again. Daryl Peterson is the husband of the victim. Although we usually avoid involving family members of the recently deceased, In an investigation, he's the sole witness of the murder, and as such, a key asset. He has voluntarily agreed to be interviewed. Peterson's reports so far have been accurate and led to the arrest of the burglar and main suspect for the murder, Jared Munch Cox. However, the police officers of the first unit at the scene report Peterson displaying unusual calm and composure. This is a suspicious degree of detachment for someone emerging from such a traumatic and stressful situation. This raised some concerns. Yet Peterson has a clean record, and there's no evidence that points to any wrongdoing on his part. Alright, we need to bring them in. Jared, be honest with me. Who killed Miss Peterson? Let us talk about yourself, Mr. Cox. They said calmly. No need to miss me around, Chief. You can call me Munch. This is not your first crime, is it? They try to control the anger. Why, you want to send me to prison for once again? Or have you been part of any criminal group crime? What made you turn to crime? They said, making clear pause between each statement. What you want, Chief? A sob story is pretty easy. I want to eat and then have food. Others have food. On TV that you can sell for food. You have already been convicted once and did your time. Why do it again? They stared with anger in their eyes. I was put in the box for car theft, Chief. I didn't do that again. So I don't know what you're talking about. Repeat offenders are punished harsher, Munch. You'll be in a lot of trouble if you don't work with me. They raised their voice. Shit, I'm no murderer. Come on, Chief. Let's work something out. Don't send me to rough for something I didn't do. Again, why did you return to being a thief after serving time? They stared with anger in their eyes. As I said, because no one is gonna hide me with a racket, and you know that. We'll come back to this later. I'm sure we will. Do you have any friends or family? They stayed avoiding your gaze. My cousin is the only one left, but please, don't drag him into this. He has nothing to do with it. Very well, if you write down his phone number or address, we'll make sure he knows you're safe. They stared with a tinge of disbelief in their voice. Shit, thanks, but the boy knows how to handle himself. It's better if you don't get into trouble looking for me or something. So, no friends or family other than your cousin. They stared blankly. Told you, just my cousin. He's a tough boy, he'll manage. Are you from the city? They stared sadness in their voice. Yeah. I've been around this place enough to know where this is going. Why do you work? Should we notify them of your arrest? They stared with anger in their voice. Yo, drop the act, Chief. You know I ain't working. You guys make sure I wouldn't when they put those things on my racket. So you say you're currently unemployed? Yes, no job, no nothing. I'll come back to this later. Let's talk about the burglary. They stayed defensive again with this. What more do you want to know? Why did you choose this specific house? I didn't choose it for nothing, Chief. I didn't do it. Whatever it is you want to pin on me. So the fire escape ladder was already down? They seem annoyed. Yeah, it was still looked like a circus acrobat to you. Were the lights on or off? I would go in if the lights were on. And what did you use to break the window? What? I didn't break no window. It was wide open. Your tricks don't work on me, Chief. I'm too smart for that, they said with disgust. You know the bells here. Were you aware there were people inside? They stared, a quick smile on the corners of their mouth. How could I know about that? I don't have cameras in people toilets like you boys do. Then why take the risk if you did not know the people were inside? Yeah, why? I wouldn't. I didn't do it. They stared, smothering anger showing in their voice. But they were home. Did you see them? They stared defensively. I bolted back down the ladder before I could see anyone. You lied to me one more time and stop playing nice. We caught you with stolen items, so don't tell me you just back off. Fuck, okay. There was no one inside, so I climbed and looked around. So if they weren't in the bedroom, why did you notice them? After I jumped in, I heard voices inside the apartment somewhere. Sounded like they were fighting or something. Did you hear what they were fighting about? They stayed raising their voice. What do you think I am, man? The CIA? You tell me what they were fighting about. I got my ass out of there as soon as I noticed somebody was in the house. I'll come back to this later. What did you take? They stared with frustration in their voice. Just some useless small trees. It was the only thing around. I don't get what the big deal is. At what point did you run away? As soon as I figured out they were home, I jumped back out and down the fire escape ladder. I wasn't inside for more than, I don't know, 5 minutes. I'll come back to this later. Let's talk about the murder of Miss Peterson. They stayed visibly annoyed. Man, as I told the officer that arrested me, I know nothing about that. Did you know the Petersons before the event? Look, the only Peterson I know sell groceries back in my neighborhood, so no, I don't know the Petersons. Never did. I don't even know what they look like. Did you feel threatened by the couple in any way? I'm sure they're nice people, but I haven't seen them, spoken to them, or even sent them a text. That's a long way of saying no. The gun that shot Miss Peterson was found near the fire escape ladder you used. Someone must have dropped it for something. I told you, I know nothing about the murder. You said the weapon isn't yours, yet you were the only one at the scene. That doesn't add up. Chief asked anyone, go search my house, do whatever you want. I never had a gun. I don't even know how to use one. Anyone could have dropped it there. Have you ever owned a gun? I don't touch them, Chief. You said you live in a bad neighborhood. Don't you own one for self-defense? They shrugged and nodded. Listen, Chief, in my hood, people with guns shoot other people with guns. If you don't have one, you're safe. Well, a bit safer. How can I know that the gun is not yours? I don't know, man. What about the whole innocent until proven guilty thing? They stayed anger in their voice. Let's change the topic. We found the husband tied down. He claims you did that. They erupt in anger. What? That line? Shiplum. Do you think I carry a rope around just in case? Nah, I'm not into that shivery stuff. The woman was shot in the back in cold blood. And you think I did that? Come on, be reasonable. If I was a guns-blazing motherfucker, wouldn't I at least take the TV or something on the way out? Did you happen to see anybody else in or around the house when you were in there? I didn't see anyone. The street was empty and I ran away as I heard voice inside. Mr. Cox, you had no reason to care about these people. You're going down for this anyway. Don't waste my time. I'm sure you don't go to Max. They articulate each word with care. You are one mean, evil motherfucker, even for a cop. Maybe you panic, pull the trigger accidentally. They look at you, anger in their eyes. What trigger? Panic by what? You ain't pinning this on me, no matter how hard you try. I'll come back to this later. The woman was shot in the back in cold blood. Frustration can be felt in their voice, but not by me. You gotta believe me. Let's change the topic. Okay, I'm going to talk to the husband. Let's talk a bit about yourself, Daryl. They said at a low volume. I don't know if this is the best time to get acquainted with Asaway. The first few hours must be hard. How are you handling the loss? They said calmly. We have to move on, don't we? My report says you were surprisingly calm when the police found you. Do you care that little about your wife's death? Their voice pitch rise. How dare you? I was in shock and I want to be as helpful as possible, so I was trying to keep my cool and be useful. What you went through can be very traumatic. Do you have any family to help you get through these tough times? No, and I don't think this is in any way relevant to your investigation. Have you taken leave from work to deal with this? There was no need for that. They fired me months ago. Why did you used to work? I probably made the chair you're sitting on right now. I used to be a carpenter. Why did you get fired? The corrupt assholes there want to hire cheaper labor, immigrants and such. They don't care that I have been working there for 6 years. All they care about is their own bottom line. These global corporations. So your wife was the primary owner. They raised their voice, visibly upset. Yes, she had a salary and I did not. You sound just like a criticizing me all the time. It can't be all roses and sunshine in one's career, okay? So the job hunt must be frustrating. I hope you find one soon. Don't pretend like you care, they said bitterly. As I said, loss is difficult. Let me know if you start feeling bad. Just drop the fake pleasantry. They disgust me. They said spitefully. So, you and your wife argue often, and she blamed you for getting fired. They shift uncomfortably in the chair. Yes, you got it right. She thought that just because she had an income and I did not, it made her superior in some way. Wouldn't understand that it wasn't my fault I was fired. How common were these arguments? They say defensively averting the case. Enough, I'm not talking about my personal life. I assume you were fighting over this on the night of the break-in as well, right? They shrugged stiffly. Sure, yes, that's what started at that night as well. It was a common thing for us. It must have been so frustrating for you, her constant pestering. They backed out angrily. I don't want to talk about her. All my feelings, enough. Now it's time to stop bullshitting me, Peterson. It's obvious to anyone that you resented what she did. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm done with this talk. I have some questions about your wife. They said blankly. What about it? Does she get along with her colleagues at work? They end the statement with a tingle of a smile in their face. What, you think that a fat burglar could be a hitman in this economy? I guess skills aren't what matters anyway. Any neighbor she wasn't on good terms with? I don't know. We didn't talk too much with our neighbors, and she wasn't very social. How does this help to put that bastard behind bars? How are things in your marriage? They said in good. That's quite personal. When you have been married for 7 years, things get complicated. So I understand that you and your wife had frequent disagreements lately. They fix it with this stay. What are you, a couple therapist? She just need one button to push to start an argument. That is all. About the frequent disagreements between you and your wife, any other details you feel you might have left out? What are you? Okay. The arguments you had on the night of the attack. Was that common in your relationship? Well, there's no point in denying, although I don't think it's any of your business. Yes, we were arguing. We did a lot of arguing, like, so what? My father did not say, but do you have any children? Then take a pen and write in your file. No, we had other things to occupy ourselves with. Do you think anyone would hate her enough to plan on harming her? Plan? What are you saying? That it was planned. Who said anything about the burglar? We keep an open suspect's list. The voice whispers, if that is a procedure, but I saw him with my own eyes. Isn't that enough? So there's nobody. Okay. No, not really. Can't imagine myself ever getting married. Cool, I really don't care. What were you and your wife doing that night before it all happened? They spit out the words with venom in their eyes. Being robbed by a burglar, you and your fellow policeman did catch in time. Was there anyone else in the house? Quite obviously, I don't see the point of these questions. So I ask again, could anyone have thought that you intended to leave the house? What? How do you know that? We were supposed to go out for dinner, but we stayed at home instead. My wife cancelled. We go out every Friday, usually. Were the doors locked, the lights on? They stared blankly. Yes, the doors were locked, and the lights were on in the living room. So it was clear to anyone on the outside someone was in the house, and the burglar still came in. Yes, that my rest piece of trash knew we were here. Mr. Cox said that the lights were off. Are you lying? And who would you believe, me or a criminal? And you're sure there was nobody else to ask again? Oh fuck, this is going to get real ugly here. I would like to know some details about the incident's timeline. Okay, what do you want to know? Did you hear the burglar coming into the house? No, not really. We were arguing quite long. When and where did you first see him? When he entered the living room. They stayed after pausing for a second to think. Where were you and your wife when you first saw him? We were in the living room. Is this relevant to the investigation? At what point did the burglar pull out the gun? He had his gun out when he burst in. How did you react when you saw the gun? I put my hands up, of course. I told him that he could take whatever he wanted as long as he did not hurt us. Munch claims he does not own a gun and there's no evidence tying one to him. Well, he's clearly lying, or perhaps he stole mine. I keep it in the bedroom. Oh, therefore it cracks. Did he also want to tie down your wife? Yes, he was telling her to sit down as she started towards the phone. That's when he shot her. Why did he tie you down? I guess he was scared. I would try to fight him off. Did you provoke him in any way? Threaten him somehow? What are you talking about? He was the one threatening me. He took us by surprise. I didn't have time to grab my gun. So you and your wife argue often and she blames you for getting fired. They shift uncomfortably in the chair. Yes, you got it right. She thought that just because she had an income and I did not, it made her superior in some way. Would understand that it wasn't my fault, I was spy. Okay, I've asked this question before. You said you own a gun. You're not registered as a gun owner. The state legislation doesn't say I need to register. I bought a gun at a gun fair. Anyway, what about it? So why didn't you try to use the gun in self-defense? I couldn't reach it in time. I wasn't even waiting for an opportunity to test my aim on filth like him. So you were prepared for such an event. Seeing how dangerous this city is nowadays, criminals running loose while the police force is too corrupted to do anything about it, you have to be ready to take matters into your own hands. No offense. Most people don't wish they had an opportunity to test the aim on a human being, Peterson. What if you killed the burglar? The voice quivers in anger, and there would be one less piece of trash walking the streets. If most people would be willing to stand up, the streets would be much safer. Why did you not report this sooner? It's quite dubious you would hide such a thing. I didn't think I had to. I didn't report the numbers of shoes I own either. Quite harsh views you have, Mr. Peterson. Do you really think this burglar deserves to die? They stayed resolutely while crossing their arms. Hell yes, with some people, there's no alternative. You have to take things into your own hands and get tough. Only way this world will ever be a better place is if honest people stand up with force if necessary. Vigilante justice. Do you think that's the solution? There's so much filth out there, and the system that's supposed to clean it just as dirty. If honest people like you and me don't take action, the filth will drown us all. It's the only solution. Just you and me. That won't change much, don't you? That won't change much, don't you think? Therefore, it's booming with energy. There's many of us out there who think like this. We found each other online, like-minded people, willing to take up the responsibility, do the right thing. You slip up, you fuck up. Wait, what are you talking about? A political platform? They start speaking faster. No, politics is their game. If we play by their rules, we lose because it's a rigged game. We need to short-circuit the whole system, shake up the entire establishment. That takes a coordinated effort, though. How would that happen? There's this group I was talking about. We mostly meet online, forums, boards, chat rooms. It's a great tool to organize ourselves, plan things out. What sort of plans are you talking about? I don't know for sure. I don't have the rights to the chat room where things are organized, but it will certainly be big. Why don't you have access to this chat room? You need to show some commitment beforehand and to be part of the group for a while. I asked for access, I'm sure I'll get it soon. Who has the access then? The chat rooms are anonymous, of course. We know each other by our IDs, mostly veterans, people that have been involved for a long time. They assign a mentor to new people. Mine is Horn Bunny 49, silly name I know. What needs to be discussed in such secrecy? I don't know for sure, but it's the place where they assign actual tasks and set up meetings. Things are picking up recently. It's all very exciting to be part of the Liberation Front. What? The Liberation Front, that's this group's name. No one voted on it or anything, it's just what we call it. I've heard enough. If you want some links to the forums, I'll give them to you after we're done here. You keep on saying, I keep on saying, this is the only reasonable perspective anime could have. I think let's go back to this guy again. You're the boss here. Have you heard about the Liberation Front? That a gang or something? No. Never heard of them. Must be new. Tell me more about the murder, Miss Peterson. As I said, tell me what I want and you don't go to Max. Fuck you. Jared, be honest with me. Who killed Miss Peterson? They frowned annoyed. I know where this is going. Regardless of what you believe, I did, Chief. You got nothing on me because I didn't kill nobody. Daryl, honestly, who killed your wife? What are you insinuating that I killed her to try to put me behind bars just because I said I believe scum like that Burglar should stop walking this planet? How did you jump from that to me killing my own wife? Let's talk some more about your gun. They yell in pain, insisting that they're innocent. The marks from this will be visible for several days. And why didn't you live anymore? As I said, we got into an argument. Again, Mr. Cost says the lights were off. I told you already, he must be lying. What did you say you took? So just a few moss trees in some parts, and it would worth that much. Can I do anything here? I'm suspecting the husband, but how am I supposed to tie him down here? I understand that you got fired from your last job. Now it's time to stop bullshitting me, Peter said. It's obvious to anyone that you resented what she did. Yes, I deserve her respect and she refused to give it to me. Any man in my position would feel the same. She was vicious and relentless. I couldn't have any peace and quiet. So that is why you seem so composed about the situation. You actually hated her. How would you feel in my shoes, huh? I'm not happy she's dead, but she made my life miserable. At least now I have some peace and quiet. Any new thing here? This one. What did your wife think about these online friends of yours? She did not approve. It gave her another reason to criticize me. All those arguments. I don't understand your relationship with your wife was becoming tense. Did you do anything to let off some steam? Why are my hobbies relevant to this investigation? I took my gun to the nearby field and practiced shooting bottles. Is that what you wanted to hear? What, are you going to arrest me for it now? Let's talk more about your gun. I kind of asked him that. He's not going to say anything. How did you say you reacted when you saw the gun? We both put our hands up and tried to calm the situation. So you say he also wanted to tie down your wife, and he shot her for not complying. Again, did you tie the husband down? That's what he claims. Come on, man, you know that's bullshit. Let's talk more about the gun. Someone must have dropped the gun. It wasn't me. No, he did not own it. How am I supposed to tie the husband down here? Fuck. Again, how did you cope with the stressful relationship you had with your wife? Again, Daryl, who killed your wife? They state their voice shaky. What do you mean? That damn burglar. Who do you think you're? To me, it's clear you have no love for your wife. You resent her. I would go so as far to say you hate her. I did hate her, yes. I hated her arrogance. I hated her friends. I hated her fucking bonne-sorties. I hated the disrespect she had for me. But that doesn't mean I would ever hurt her. And even more, that night you all had an argument and you also saw a huge opportunity to blame the murder on the burglar. He spotted coming in. Is that right? What? How? I mean, listen, Peterson, I have you on record saying that you hated your wife and that you planned dangerous activities online. If you don't confess, I'll make sure you're convicted for terrorist intent and you rot in prison for the rest of your miserable life. A deep sadness engulfs his cracking voice. Is that your idea of justice? I admit, I killed her. She had it coming, as do many others, such as you and the corrupt system that puts people like you in position of power. Your time will come. Let's report the findings. We got him. We got him, boys. Interrogation successful. With the confession secured, Daryl Peterson will be going to jail for a long time. What is this Liberation Front business, though? Nice. Good work in there. I have something important I need to discuss with you. But before that, I need you to finish up the press release we're putting out about this case. Help them word it. Then come see me. Oh. STPD press release. The investigation involving the murder of Heather Peterson was concluded today, which resulted in the arrest of Daryl Peterson, 41, and Cheryl Cox, 26. All evidence pertaining to the case has been directed to the relevant authorities with the full cooperations and counsel of the STPD prosecutor counselor. And the case will be taken to the criminal court. Let me see. They will be treated following judicial procedure. The criminals have been incarcerated. What? Okay, this is the first one. Daryl Peterson confessed to the murder during questioning, although he initially attempted to hide his involvement by staging a violent robbery. Evidence found at the scene contradict parts with the description of the event. Not initially a suspect, the victim's husband. Yeah, this is the first one. The police will be advancing charge of voluntary manslaughter, first-degree murder. No, first-degree murder. Due to the confession, the manslaughter charge against Jared Cox have been dropped, and he will only face prosecution for breaking and entering the theft. His involvement in creating the circumstance for the murder to happen will be investigated further. Evidence suggests he had no violent intent and no connection to the murder. No, he is not involved in this. Come in for a second. I've been reviewing your interrogation tapes. Care to explain why there are gaps in them? Oh, I thought it would be best not to record hurting the suspects. I just assumed that was sarcasm. Any accusation they make about being hurt become more credible when there are gaps in the recording. Be dead careful about that. That's all. Pick an old memory. What's going on here? Speed demon, skull of ideology. You have more time to interrogate, but cannot access files during or before the interrogation. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Well, that's not what I want to do. Skull of ideology. You have keenly studied extremist ideology and may use that knowledge when talking to people with radical convictions. In the end, we'll strike back against ourselves. Okay, I need to take a look at this. Reading reactions and emotional states is science to you. You have an exact evaluation in numbers and of how fearful and empathetic the subjects are. Pupils dilate satisfaction. You have mastered the use of threats and silence to cow the subject. A dog that barks is a dog insufficiently boiled, China's saying. Intimidating presence. Known pacifist. You always follow procedure, and unknown word. Subjects have more empathy towards you, but you have trouble frightening them and cannot use enhanced interrogation. We'll do this by the book, or else we're no different from them. Now fuck that shit, boys. Confirm the memories in advance. So now what? This Liberation Front business you got out, Peterson, it seems to be pretty serious stuff. They've been claiming more and more hits and seem to be behind things like assault on politicians. They appear to be expanding their operation, chiefly in our city. So I have talked it over with the powers that be, and we have decided you're the best person for the job. You'll be heading up a small unit to combat these guys. We're pulling some of the best people from other departments to work with you. Not gonna lie, this unit will mean all eyes will be on you. Try and keep everyone happy. But most importantly, stop these bastards. Rest up, see you tomorrow. Can I do anything? Congratulations on your new assignment, detective. Let me introduce some of the people you'll be working with. This is Tab Thompson, analyst extraordinaire. I look forward to addressing the threat of the Liberation Front with you, detective. And this is Jennifer Reyes, Organized Crime Department's best delighted detective. Mordecai Fischer, who will pull from the homicide, will also be helping you out in the field. I'll leave you to it. Shall we head out and talk some shop over at Hennigan's? The meeting room is not being used. Hennigan's sounds great. Can I do anything now? We've got some live action, boss. Morris out there with some badge wrapping out 3 suspects for who that horn bunny might be. I do hope Mr. Fisher practiced restraint. I know him to be rather abrasive when bringing in people. I'm sure Marty means well, the terrorists among them deserves to be appraised. Well, this is more important. I'm going to get the rooms ready. There's an update being pushed to the chat room software. Darn, it seems that the Liberation Front have found out about our move. They have triggered the relocation of passwords for the chat room. It's just a matter of minutes before the current password becomes useless. We need to acquire a new one ASAP. They're here. Get ready to interrogate them. We'll line up the files.